Camera number 372 is the Ricoh XR7. Requires batteries to operate. It has an electronic shutter. So to put the batteries in, we need to open our battery door with a coin, which I'll just go. So we can see the two LR44 batteries in its cradle, and the positives are pointing up, and then obviously when we put them in the camera they point inwards to the camera, and then we can just close the battery door. So while I'm doing that, you'll notice the only other things on the base are a tripod mount and then provision to add a motor wind. And then we also have just here the little button that releases the film advance so that we can put our film back into our canister. So with batteries in, the camera should now operate. But let's just look at the front. The lens mount is the K mount, and to release the lens we just press the lens release button, and you'll notice I've got the XR7 50mm f2, very nice lens I must say. Do like this a lot, and certainly fits very nicely onto the camera. And then on the front here we have a little lever that actuates the light meter, which is useful. I like that when it separates from the shutter button, because so many times I've pressed the button, tried to activate the light meter and found I've actually taken a photo. So I do like it when I can just press the button there and it operates the meter. I don't know whether you can see that through the screen there. On the right hand side, or when you look through it on the left hand side, is the scale. It's a little needle, and the shutter, the shutter speeds are down the side there. The camera can be operated in aperture priority mode, but also you can do a manual mode as well. Sorry, I had to think there. Okay, the other side we just have a little port for a flash, and that's pretty much it on the front. So let's just put our lens back on. Turning our attention to the top plate, we have our film speed, which we just click into place. No, we don't, beg your pardon, we don't click into place, we have to lift the collar, we can rotate and add exposure compensation, +2, -2, and we just have to rotate that, but otherwise we put it at 0 to the little marker there. Self timer button, let's just put that, try that on. Let's just wind the film on, there we go. So we just press the button and you'll notice the little red light lights up, counts down to about 10 seconds and then takes the photograph. Nice. On the other side we have our film advance, our film counter. We have shutter speeds that go from 16 seconds down to, or up to, 1/1000th of a second. So that's nice. We have a little lock button when we're in A, which is aperture priority mode. To unlock that we have to press our little unlock button, and then we can go to bulb, and then we can choose our manual modes. It is a metered manual mode, so it will tell you what it thinks is the correct exposure. Little release, the shutter release there, which also has a thread for cable release, and nice inclusion of a separate button for multiple exposure, so that's nice, and a little lock button to make sure that that doesn't come undone. To put our film into our camera we just simply lift up the film rewind crank, and then we put our film into our camera. There we go. So that's pretty much it for the Ricoh XR7, although I have got a couple of questions, because when I look through the manual, my Ricoh XR7 doesn't quite match what the camera manual suggests. In the camera manual There is a little lever here which is a depth of preview button, which mine doesn't have, which is interesting. And then also on the other side there is a memory exposure lock, which mine doesn't have. So one other thing, when you look through the viewfinder, you are meant to see aperture, but I don't. So three things there that have a question mark regarding my XR7. So if anybody could shed any light on that, whether it's just another iteration of that same camera, perhaps a later model, more likely, not quite sure. But there we go, that's the Ricoh XR7.